This is Dr. Mark Hitchcock welcoming you to another episode of Marking the Times. It's great to have you with us every week as we look at the times we live in related to Bible prophecy and see how things that are happening in our world today really correspond to the biblical scenario laid out in the Bible for the end times. Appreciate the questions you all send in, and we'll try to get to some of those in some of the future episodes. But today I want to talk about something that probably a lot of you are thinking about. Maybe you woke up this morning hearing about this. And that is the decision by President Trump to remove American troops from Syria. America only has about 2,000 troops there remaining, so it's not a large force. They really got there in 2014 to defeat ISIS. And of course, ISIS is down to having about 1% of the territory it held before. So President Trump has made this decision, I guess really going against a lot of his advisors to remove our troops from Syria. And so a lot of people are wondering, well, what significance could that have prophetically? Well, one of the things we've seen recently is the focus of Israel has gone to their northern border and has shifted really from their western border with Gaza. Israel has Gaza, where the Palestinians are down in that area, down to the west. But in the north, to the north of Israel, of course, is Lebanon, where Hezbollah exists. And they're really becoming the dominant force there in many ways. They're an Iranian-backed surrogate group. Then also we have Syria, where Iran and where Turkey and where Russia are heavily involved. And so here recently they found in northern Israel some Hezbollah cross-border tunnels into Israel. So Israel's had their focus there in the north. Also, Israel has made about 200 military strikes into Syria, hitting Syrian, Iranian convoys there. So really the action now in Israel is up on that northern border. And this decision by President Trump to pull our troops out of Syria really came as a shock to many people. Some of the headlines in the paper are saying, or in the papers are saying things like this: Iran will move in to fill the vacuum. Trump's decision opens a land corridor from Tehran to Beirut, or a land bridge for Iran, from Iran all the way to the Mediterranean, which is one of the things Iran has greatly desired. So a lot of people are wondering, why is this happening now? Well, what I've read is that President Trump was having a conversation with President Erdogan of Turkey, and he told President Trump, America's statement was, when we came there to Syria, we were going to defeat ISIS, then we were going to get out of there. And ISIS has been, for the most part, defeated. And so he was calling on President Trump to keep the word of American presidents on this topic. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. There are people who think this is a great thing for America. They think we're involved in too many places, want to see us get out of Afghanistan, get out of Syria, and all of these places. Others think we need to be there to maintain our national interests. But when you look at it from a prophetic perspective, what we see is, again, Iran is being strengthened in Syria. Russia is being strengthened in Syria. Turkey is a key player there with its border on the north with Syria. So what we see happening is this Turkish-Russian-Iranian alliance building in Turkey on the northern border of Israel. And the three main nations mentioned in Ezekiel 38 and 39, many of you know this. Rosh is mentioned, which is Russia, Persia, which is the modern-day nation of Iran, and four of the nations mentioned, Meshech, Tubal, Gomer, and Togarmah, are in modern-day Turkey. And so we see this coalition they're building. And again, we don't know what twists and turns may be taking in the future. But we do see these nations there poised on Israel's northern border. And Israel has made it clear that they're going to push back against Iran no matter what the United States does. And of course, just because the U.S. is pulling out 2,000 troops doesn't mean we won't still be involved there in some ways. And of course, if our intervention is needed, obviously we have aircraft carriers we can bring up into the Mediterranean, fly missions into there. So it doesn't mean America will never have any influence there again and won't back Israel there. But it's a very interesting development, and I don't really know what all's behind it, and I'm not sure that a lot of the people in our government know as well. But God is shaping the stage, though, for his prophecies that he's given to be fulfilled in the end times. And again, as we look at the newspaper today, Israel's front and center. Syria's there. Russia's there. Iran is there. Turkey is there. all these nations that are mentioned as key players in the end time. So this is just part of the further development and the stage setting that we see happening. It's really setting up everything for the way the Bible predicts it's going to come down in the end times. Again, we can't point at every specific event and say, oh, this is a fulfillment of prophecy, but it's a continual shaping of events and major players in the world to take their place for the end time drama when God raises the curtain someday and the rapture of the church takes place. So we'll continue to watch this, continue to give you updates. I'm sure there'll be a lot of developments in the days ahead, but I wanted to just give a brief update on this, the way I see it, kind of as these events are initially coming out. We'll see you next time. God bless you. Have a Merry Christmas.